Oh, g'day, how you going? Don't mind me, just casually customizing this road in real time. You know, a couple of extra dedicated bus lanes. We'll add in some medians on either side just for a bit of a laugh. I reckon that some of these sidewalks, they're a little bit too wide for my liking. We'll just trim them down just a little bit. And the speed limit looks a little fast. I'm just gonna drop him down to 40 kilometers an hour and I'll name him up to 4-lane bus road. Yeah. And now that it's saved, I should be able to find it in my, in the medium roads, 4-lane bus road. I can just go ahead and upgrade the rest of this road. And if all of this seems kind of crazy to you, then you'd be correct. This is indeed totally crazy. The person behind this craziness is TDW. He is also the one behind a whole bunch of amazing mods from City Skylines 1 and in City Skylines 2. This one is no exception. This might just be the finest of the bunch, and it's truly something to behold. I mean, to be able to do something like this, I didn't even think something like this was even possible. So a big thanks to TDW for the early access to this mod. This will be available on the 9th of August. Definitely go and check it out, because this is something that is going to completely change the way you play City Skylines. And look, you are for sure going to be hearing the term game-changing mod used quite a lot as people start reviewing this and getting their hands on this mod, but trust me, this is totally game-changing. Oh boy, I probably need to use it down here, let's be honest. But it's pretty exciting, so I'm excited to see what you guys get up to with it. I am not the biggest road guy, as you can probably tell by my attempt down here at creating some sort of bus lane, some sort of custom bus lane in the middle here. In fact, I'm going to just change him up. I'm going to click on, what are we doing here? Road Builder. Click on this guy, and I'm going to edit all instances. And I don't think that this lane in the middle is actually going to work out. So I'm going to drag him back over to pick him up, plonk it over there. And that'll be better because now buses can actually stop on the sidewalk. So I think that's going to work a whole lot better. And I actually think to its core, this mod works the best to its simplest form. And that is just going into some of little areas like this and making some simple changes that should completely change the way that your roads behave. So we're going to get into some areas like this to fix them up, but I also want to get a little bit silly, a little bit crazy, and see if we can do something kind of a little bit more hardcore. So I reckon we do some simple fixes, and then I also reckon we get into an area like this that is just a mess. I had a crack at doing something that is inspired by this area a little while ago, and I kind of just chucked it in the too hard basket, gave it a bit of a crack, and then we just let him be, put it to the side. But I reckon we might be able to make some simple changes to this and actually turn this road into something a whole lot more interesting and functional with this new mod. But let's start simple. Well, kind of simple. Now, I don't know if I'm going to solve all of this, but I do want to continue this bus lane that I have started to create and turn one of these lanes, or not so much one of these lanes into a bus lane, but turn one of the sidewalks into a bus lane. Because I don't really want to see people walking along here. This seems a little unsafe. Plus, there's not exactly anything around this side of the street that really needs people to be walking around here. They can just use this path that is along the edge of this abandoned train line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into this road tool and we will click on this road. I think let's just put it on pause and I'll drag in this bus lane maybe here. Is that the right side? Yeah. And then I'm going to remove this sidewalk. What does this look like? It looks good. And that'll stop people from walking on that side of the street, but it does look a little bit strange just having it without any sort of edge. So let's see if we can make any other changes. Maybe a median on the edge of there? What does that look like? Or maybe not a median, and instead, what does a shoulder look like? Okay, I don't mind that. Oh, now they're driving the wrong direction, so I'll just switch that up. And now that I've done that, I should be able to find that road in the created roads that I've just made. If I scroll down, yep, there he is right there. And then let's upgrade it. We'll chuck a bus lane in the middle there. Okay. And another one. Okay. Still a little bit of traffic, but I don't really mind a bit of traffic as long as it looks fairly realistic and as long as it's a little bit more interesting. And I do think that this is a whole lot more interesting. But yeah, I mean, traffic in this game is still pretty all over the place. I reckon I might have to grab that traffic mod just to make some minor improvements in certain areas. We are seeing a few little sneaky guys sneaking into this lane, but it's mostly being used by taxis. Mostly because our buses are totally held up at our Grand Central Station. Yeah, this is where most of the buses are. They are completely held up down here. There is a lot going on. So we'll get down here in just a moment and fix up all this. But there's still a couple more things I want to do up in this section. Our dedicated bus lane is now stretching to this section, and I'll extend it out all the way up until our bridge so that we do have a good flow of traffic, because we do have a fair amount of buses going out into our outside connection. So I'll continue that stretch out that way. But I would like to make some improvements to the connection to the downtown, because we do have this little section. It is kind of just ending for our bus network. And it's also kind of ending for our one-way road that is getting people into the city. So this whole area is a bit of a mess, and I completely blame our highway. It's kind of disconnecting it all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get our one-way road, and let's extend this road that way. Let's have a look at where the other ones are, because we do have a whole bunch of buses just stuck up here. Oh, look, they've finally made it to our bus station. What a ripper. Okay, we're gonna fix this road. All right, Elk Street, it's time to upgrade you. This is a street that is constantly slammed with buses and with taxis, and it's the reason why our public transport doesn't really work quite as well as it should, because we constantly have, I mean, it's flowing at the moment, but every time I look down here, except for right now, it is slammed and there is just like no movement. Everybody's just at a standstill. And I think it's because we don't have anything that is dedicated to our public transport. So it would be nice to add in a dedicated lane or two, and also see if we can maybe add an extra lane somewhere. But then I also don't really want to widen it too much. Like, I don't mind a little bit of widening, but I would like it to remain a fairly narrow road. So let's see what we can do. Okay, a little bit of time has passed and things have improved marginally, like asterisks marginally. I think that the roads down here are looking a whole lot better. This is kind of how I wanted and envisioned this whole area to look. Now, the buses are way more evenly dispersed in terms of the ridership. We're seeing so many people on these things, which is kind of ridiculous. I guess we really needed some good public transport, and only having 4 lines, or at least 4 bus networks throughout the city, I don't know, maybe a little bit alarming. We might need to add a couple of extra ones, but I would like to see more people working and not working. I'd like to see more people using our light rail, but of course it doesn't go to all of the areas within the city. But people are on this, and I think that everything's looking a whole lot nicer down here. I have now removed the sidewalk on this side of the street because I sort of feel like I would like people to be walking around this side where all the houses and the shops and everything else is kind of sitting, whereas over on this side, this is very much just the rail yard. And I plan to come back down here and detail it up, make it a whole lot nicer. This is purely just for the functionality of everything. I think that it makes more sense for people to be walking around here. and they do have to cross this little section, which I think is so fine, and then they walk across here to our central station, which not a huge amount of people are using because it's only connected to our outside connection, and I just don't think that people really need to use the train at the moment. I mean, I take that back, that is the platform leading to our outside connection, so obviously people are using it, but oh look, there's some people over here too. Oh, that's kind of nice. But I still need to get down here and really make some big improvements. I have been doing some stuff off camera and kind of embarrassed to show you, but it's a bit of a freak show. So I'm just going to show you, and I want you to maybe just help me out here, because I don't really know what to do with this whole network of roads. Yeah, look at those buses. They just disappeared because they just don't know what to do. This is just a total mess, and I want it to be all over the place, but this is just not it. I am trying to get people off these roads. I have originally dragged out a path that went underground and connected up. I mean, a lot of people are walking from Lawrenceville to New Dimesburg, and it's just an absolute mess. So I'm gonna just leave all this because this is a whole build for another day. If you've got any suggestions, please let me know. I want to keep it interesting and a little bit all over the place, but this is just not it. I mean, I think that one of the smartest moves I've done in this episode is mention that I'm not a road guy, and this is just a good example of that. Okie dokes, it's time to get a bit creative with this one. I would like to create some sort of road that is inspired by this stretch, which is something that I did have a crack at a little while ago, but I really just popped it in the too hard basket and moved on, kind of just swept it under the rug. Until today, I think we can give this a much better crack. So what I'm planning on doing is I'm planning on using two mods here. Of course, Road Builder, I think that's going to help us out a lot. And I'm also going to be using Extended Road Upgrade Tool, which is something that you guys suggested last time I tried to build this. It's a mod that's going to let me upgrade some of the roads so that they have the keys on the inside after I build the roads first. So let's build the roads first. Now that's the reason why I have removed everything down here. We've got it nice and flat, and that'll mean that we will have a nice flat land to drag out our road network. And I'm gonna make these parallel, and we're gonna be upgrading these roads once I drag them out. So I'm not gonna get too hung up on how far away they are from each other, because I'm gonna be using Move It as well, just to drag them a bit closer. But I think something like this is probably a good start. And then leading down here, honestly, a job for another day. And now I'm going to use Extended Roads tool to select the key, and I should be able to create a bit of a key on the inside here. And this is where our highway is going to be dragged underneath. And so far, it's been kind of easy. I feel like it's about to get a whole lot harder. I want to drag out this, yeah, okay, this is going to be tricky. I want to drag out this highway in the middle. I don't want it to connect to this road, so is that behaving itself? Okay, so far so good. And just ignoring the people and the dogs and the cars falling into our trench, but it is a bit lumpy. So I think we can use movement just to make it a little bit smoother down here, because I think it'd be much easier to do this now rather than later. Yeah, that's my other idea. First of all, I don't totally love the fact that our road is now clipping into our highway. I don't think that's great. Obviously, they can still drive through this area, but I don't know. Just as like a realism point of view, I don't know if I could live with that. And then obviously clearance is going to be a bit of an issue as well. So I'll probably have to drop him down a fair bit, to be honest. I've got an idea. I'm gonna try something, and I have saved it. So if I make any terrible decisions, I can just go back. I'm going to change our highway down here. I'm going to turn it into a tunnel, and let's see what happens to everything around here. Okay, so a couple of interesting things are happening down here. First of all, the tunnel is working, as in it is a tunnel, but it is technically, I don't know, is it a tunnel? I've used this one, and I think this is part of the extended roads tool, and yeah, there you go, tunnel mode. It might not look perfect, but it works. That's true, it does work. It is a tunnel down here. You can actually see it poking through, which does lead me to interesting thing number 2. These pillars, as I've added in as a purely aesthetic thing, are actually clipping into the ground and making it so that we can in fact see the road underneath. So they are now turned into something that is completely practical, which I didn't really plan for. Kind of crazy. I'm gonna move these big boys, and let's see what we can do with some of these little ones. That is honestly pretty wild. I can't believe that is working. I did not expect that. This is going to plan, but also not going to plan. But look, you can actually see the road down there. How cool is it going to be when we see some vehicles just driving underneath this? Wonderful. So it's working. However, I don't know what's going on down here. So let's see if we can fix this mess. Ooh, sweet Caroline. Let's bring this home. This is getting messy, but I feel like I'm so close. Like, what is this? I think it's all connected, and I think we can actually cover that up. Let's see if I can just drop some of these guys down here, and what happens? Oh, kind of. It's hiding it all. You know, underneath it actually looks totally fine. It's just up top that looks a little bit strange because we do have a bit of land that is still poking through, but I also don't know if I totally hate that, because maybe we just have like a little bit of green space up here. I know that's a bit funny to say because we've clearly got a big chunk of concrete up here as well, and I'm also trying to eliminate a bit of green space. However, maybe we do have a bit of green space up here. I have connected a couple of things down below, and something's popped up that might give us a bit of an opportunity to do something kind of interesting. See what's happening down here. So we've got this brick wall, this retaining wall that is now blocking this little section, and it's kind of annoying. I don't love it. But we've also now got this little opening just there. So maybe we could get this little lane and drag him under here, because I think that as soon as I drag it under there, it will kind of clip into this and remove that retaining wall. So, again, I've saved this. If you're making mistakes, I'm just gonna go back. Okay, it's worked, but why on earth am I spending so much time trying to just make a little section on a tiny little fraction of a highway look perfect that you can't even see? I mean, you can't even really see this. So I think I just need to hear from you guys. Like, do you care about this sort of stuff? I somehow do really care about this sort of stuff. But I love that. Look at that. You can just see him just go in to this sort of retaining wall. Oh, yeah. I'm a fan. Woo, Definitely throwing a whole lot of stuff at the wall right now and seeing what's working, and a couple of things are working, a couple of things maybe not so much so, but we'll just continue just to plow away and see what is going to actually be something that sticks. But I'm pretty close to pressing play and seeing it all just all work, or hopefully work. But I just want to show you something. All down this section, I got no idea how I'm going to make this transition because it's a really awkward spot and we've got a lot going on down here, and I don't want to just drag it out and call it a day. I really want to make sure that this is fairly realistic, kind of similar to Jersey City. It's going to be kind of a struggle, so I'm kind of like leaving this just for now and we'll come back to it. Also, we do have this abandoned train line that is stretching all through this way, but I'm kind of half tempted just to leave it there and maybe it goes through a tunnel, and it kind of just ends there and almost looks like it goes through a tunnel. So I think I'm just going to leave it there, and we'll have to figure out how it kind of stretches out this way later on. But let's press play. Let's see what happens. Oh yeah, and there's a couple of cars flying through our underpass, and I love the fact that we can see them under there. That makes me so happy. There's no clipping involved. Cars are just down there, which is so nice. Up top though, I mean, these poor buggers, this is not looking particularly nice. So I think we probably need to make some improvements on some of these intersections. Oh, by the way, this guy connected here, totally unnecessary, but I do kind of like it. Ooh, don't like that though. So these roads all need to connect up just to the one point, but because we have multiple streets and multiple intersections down here, it's causing a whole bunch of problems. Now, I could pair them up with, you know, if I was in City Skylines 1, we could use paired traffic lights and set timers to them, and that would be just fine. But in City Skylines 2, at the moment, not possible. So if I really wanted to, and I'm not sure if I really want to do this, so you let me know if I should go down this path, but if I was going to make this work, I would have to disconnect all of this and drag them into this node here. But, I don't know if I'm ready to do that. What I'm more ready to do though, is add a bit more detail down here. What you think? Oh boy, it's pretty busy and a bit hectic and still a little bit to desired. There's like a bit of detailing stuff I still would really like to get into, but I just don't really have the tools to be able to do anything. For instance, I would love to put some railings along here, and I did try upgrading them, upgrading the roads to see if I can get some railings on it, but it just wasn't working out. All the fence networks, they all conform to the land, so I can't really drag it around here. You can't just raise up those nodes like in City Skylines 1. So I'm kind of stuck with how they are. Oh boy. I'm kind of stuck with what it's like. So if you've got any ideas of how you think I can actually make it work, please let me know. And anything else you think I can add down here, because I've obviously left a lot of it open. There's still quite a bit left to do. So if you've got any suggestions for things that I can add, please let me know. And also like the identity of this place, because it is still a bit of a work in progress. I still want to try and figure out how all this is going to come together and look. By the way, we are experiencing a lot of traffic. I've like disconnected some other connections to the highways just to see, just really put it under a lot of pressure. So it's not always like this, by the way. It's only just for this. But some things I kind of like I don't mind this. It does really stink of a city just slapping a band-aid on a bit of ugliness, and calling it a day, it is still pretty hideous, but I don't mind it. And I've also got this abandoned train line down here. You can see little pockets of it, and then it just kind of snakes into this tunnel and then disappears. But we'll have to figure out where it does come out of this area, but that is a story for another day. But guys, what do you reckon? And what do you reckon of this mod? This mod is definitely something to look out for and have a go at. And I'm curious to see what you guys get up to with it, and if you are making your own roads, and also to where it's going to go next, because I think that we are going to see a lot of additions to this mod as it develops over the next little while, which is exciting. But guys, that is it for today's episode. A little bit of a short one today, and I hope you enjoyed it. A big shout out to my beloved patrons who are supporting the channel over on Patreon and making videos like this possible. Jibba, Aces Punk, Thomas Riley, Nick Sharp, Axaris, Michael Danger, Jim Royster, Dan W, Marcus Allen, and Hendo. Cheers legends, see you all in the next one.